Hey, this is Perry Sauter, your friendly neighborhood mangaka in the making a manga review for you today. Today I will be reviewing Mob Psycho 100 Reigen, the man with level 131 max spirit power. Really long title. And I'll be reviewing the first chapter for the most part, and maybe touching a little bit or more on the rest of the book or the series overall. This will contain spoilers, and I'll try to let you know if and when before I give spoilers away. But if it's a series you're thinking about reading or maybe didn't know about and didn't intend on reading, then hearing spoilers might be just the thing to make you decide whether you want to read it or not. If you've already read it, then just sit back and relax and enjoy my commentary / analysis of what I think about this book. So, first off, this is a spin-off of another series called Mob Psycho 100, written by none other than One. And if that name doesn't sound familiar to you, One is the creator of One Punch Man, as well as Mob Psycho 100. Now, this does take place after Mob Psycho 100, so honestly, I recommend reading Mob Psycho 100 first, because there's characters that pop up in Mob Psycho that I think makes this a much more enjoyable read. I don't know, it's really, as someone who's already read Mob Psycho 100, it's hard for me to picture reading this the first time without having read Mob Psycho 100 and what my impression would be like, because I've already read it, so I wouldn't know. But I think if you did read this without reading Mob Psycho first, you probably would get some laughs and enjoy it, but I don't think you would enjoy it as much. So you could read it first, and even at the end of the book, it kind of plugs Mob Psycho 100, which makes me think that maybe this is just another way to get you into that series. So maybe it is intended. And second of all, this is the whole series. It's just one volume. At the end, like I just shown before, it doesn't say continued in a volume 2. It just simply plugs Mob Psycho 100. So, first, whether you've seen Mob Psycho or not, I'll give a little bit of background about it. Mob Psycho is about Mob, who is a teenager with psychic abilities, but the catch is he doesn't use them, and he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to have to rely on them. So he tries to live life without using his powers until he's pushed to. Like, he especially doesn't want them to use it for violence. And Reigen is his master or disciple, who is actually a con man that runs a business called Spirits and Such. And he'll often give people massages or Photoshop spirits out of photos and say he exorcises them and things of that nature. He is a con man, but when he runs into Mob and realizes Mob has real abilities and can exorcise real spirits, he uses Mob basically. But they make a fun duo, and even though Reigen's a con man, he's not all bad, and he has a lot of charisma going for him. Now, you might be thinking, oh, Reigen, this is about the character of Reigen. Well, Reigen's not really the main character. The main character would actually be this character right here, Tome Kurata, which if you read Mob Psycho, you would know that she is the leader of the paranormal club in Mob Psycho that is fascinated about the occult and paranormal stuff and believes in aliens and all that. And her character, she is the total opposite of Mob, in that she has no psychic abilities, but she wants them. Right, she wants them because she's obsessed with this stuff. And so there's a funny joke. It starts off, I think, with some trope of a girl that's late to class with toast in her mouth, and Tomei sees this. Tomei at school sees this as some kind of, I don't know, bizarre event. It's fascinating to her. And she brings it up to her friends who are talking about girl stuff, boys and things. And she brings it up, and they comment on it and then forget about it. They're not interested, and so she already feels kind of left out as a result. Tomei reveals her secret pastime after school, and a mystery hunter, an investigator, strange phenomena, a solver of baffling cases of the supernatural. But really, all she's doing is going to spirits and such where Reigen works. And Reigen is there doing nothing but balancing a pencil on his face. And then he goes, "Oh, it's you, so you're here again." And basically, Reigen doesn't want anything to do with Tomei because Tomei has no psychic abilities. Tomei, however, believes Reigen does, even though he's a con man. But Reigen doesn't want her around because, he can't use her, of course. But also, it's dangerous for someone who doesn't have psychic powers. And there's some funny jokes in here and conversation. And basically, at the end of this book, at the end of this first chapter, the first chapter is actually pretty short. And all it is really establishing is Tomei, who her character is, and that she basically goes to about spirits and such every day after school, wanting to work for Reigen for free. And that basically this is just like another day. So really where the action happens is in the remaining chapters of the manga. It's really fun reading and very funny, and I recommend it. Now, this is the actual physical book, so I read it first, like how I read all manga first. I read it online, scanlations, and I was after I read it all, I was kind of disappointed because if you've read anything by one, you know that he subverts expectations, typical tropes in shonen. And so when I'm following the shonen protagonist Tomei, I expect that, she wants psychic powers, so I expect by the end of it she'll get psychic powers and be this badass of sorts and exorcise demons and stuff, and I really want to see her get that. Well, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, it doesn't happen. She never gets psychic powers. And upon reading this a second time, I gained a greater appreciation for the story, and I take back my disappointment the first time around I read. This book, like I said before, is more about Tomei, the main character, and it's more of a coming-of-age story than anything. Kind of like Mob Psycho. Mob Psycho, you can also say it's somewhat of a coming-of-age story, and just like in One Punch Man, there's kind of slice of life moments and genre, or kind of delves into slice of life genre. It kind of does that as well. And so I take back what I said because the lesson learned is really heartfelt, and it's a fun read along the way. And basically, it's pointed out to her character, particularly by Dimple, how basically Tomei is proven wrong about a lot of things, because in the beginning she looks down on her friends because they're just kind of basic to her. But then at the end of the book, she finds out they all have their own secret interests, like she had with the paranormal, that she didn't know about. And for most of the book, she believes that Reigen has psychic abilities, which, spoiler alert, at the end she finds out he is a con man once she kind of endangers herself for the last time. And she admits that she was wrong about wanting psychic powers. And I felt a little bit conflicted about the message of the book in regards that she had a dream. You could say it's like, oh, well, don't follow your dreams, or you just happen to have to be born into it, fall into it. But I don't think that was the intended message. I think the intended message was that is kind of like that of the movie Pixar's Soul, where the main character is kind of ungrateful for other things because he's so hyper focused on his goals. He doesn't appreciate everyday life and may even look down on others, like how Tomei was looking down on her friends at school. She wanted to not look down on them and to kind of appreciate the world she inhabits rather than her bizarre interests in the afterlife. So that's basically it. I don't have a whole lot other analysis other than that. There's a lot of cameos of characters from Mob Psycho 100. I wouldn't say, it's hard to say, there's only one cameo, really. Then the rest, they're recurring characters. I will say, this takes place after Mob Psycho 100, because if you've read Mob Psycho, you know that Mob eventually kind of takes a break or altogether quits showing up to Reigen, showing up to help Reigen. But Reigen gains a new assistant in Sarazawa, which is the guy with the umbrella and part of that organization that Mob fights in the main series. So this takes place after, actually, too. Another good thing to know. Well, that's a review. If you like the review, if you enjoyed it, leave me a comment of why and what other series you would like me to review. For right now, I'm just going to try and stick to reviewing to maybe spin-offs or manga that don't have anime adaptations, although I'd like to eventually work my way up to the main series, the mainstream series that everyone knows, to give my thoughts and opinions on. If you want to see future reviews, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. And you'll be notified when I upload the next review every Tuesday. Although this one and my last one I uploaded on Wednesday, but I'm gonna try. All right, even if I'm a day late, I'm still gonna upload. And like I said in the beginning, I'm a mangaka in the making of my own manga, Cold Blooded. It is about Rembrandt Snart, who misses his father, and while holding out hope after his father's disappearance 5 years ago, he discovers latent reptilian abilities brought out by a shadowy figure determined to end his life. Cold-Blooded is available to read on Webtoon, Tapastic, and some other sites as well. Links are in the description for them all, and if you like what you read and can't wait to read more, then for $3 per paid post on my Patreon, you can read a chapter ahead every time a free chapter comes out on Webtoon, Tapastic, etc. So if you ain't read a comic yet, then what you waiting for? Go read Mob Psycho 100 Reigen, the man with level 131 max spirit power.